This is All the Damn Things, the podcast committed to helping women achieve your dreams, even after going through deeply challenging experiences. My name is Bevin Farrand, the founder of the Take the Damn Chance movement and creator of the Do the Damn Thing method. Yes, I say damn a lot, but it does mean something. It stands for Decide and Declare, Attend Your Own Party, Moments Not Minutes, and Now is the Time. When it's come to navigating my own deeply challenging experiences and bringing my biggest dreams to life, this framework has changed my life, and I know that it can make a huge impact on yours. You've got great goals. You've got big goals that you want to bring to life. Probably an accomplished woman, ambitious, and probably also because you're here, you don't feel like you have enough support. I have never met a single person in my life who has said they have too much support. They're just drowning in support. It's usually the opposite. So why relationships? Why am I so focused on relationships right now? Because the thing that I know is that every important thing that we do is built on relationships, okay? Our work, our parenting, any contributions we make in the world, they are all built on relationships. And so many of us are focused on our work life, whether we have a career or we have a business or an entrepreneur or whatever. We focus on that, and then our relationships suffer. But what I'm here to challenge is the fact that if we can focus on our relationships, focus on building our tribe, then all the areas of our life are going to rise. And so that is why I am focused on the relationship revolution. I also am really passionate about this because I have rebuilt and reimagined my own tribe several times. It is not an exaggeration for me to say that my tribe has repeatedly saved my life. And I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've been through, but I have been through some very deeply challenging experiences, and the people around me have lifted me up, have gotten me through it, have also helped me achieve some of my biggest dreams, helped me achieve success in many areas. It has been so critical for me to have this tribe. And I want to share that story because I believe when we share our stories, then everybody feels a little bit less isolated, a little bit less alone. I have also brought my own big dreams to life, and I'm going to share what I've discovered along the way about bringing those to life, and then also how my tribe has helped that happen. And everything that I've learned is something that you can apply to your own life. And then you can build your own tribe and you can begin living your big, bold, wonderful life. Just imagine it's a wheel. It has the different areas of our life that are important to us: career, friendship, marriage or partnership, parenting, health, like spirituality, all of the different areas of our life that kind of make up our experience. What ends up happening is like you would assess where you are on the different areas. And it's like you might be a 10 out of 10 on health, but you're a 6 out of 10 on work and a 3 out of 10 on social and a 5 out of 10 on marriage. It's a very jagged wheel. And when that happens, the problem when it's not all the same level, then you have sort of this stutter stepping. If you can imagine what it's like to have a flat tire and you know that like gadunk, gadunk, gadunk as you're trying to drive down the road. That's what it's like when your wheel of life is like all out of whack. Now, what a lot of coaches and a lot of people will say is like, okay, so you need to focus on your health because that's the area that's like got the lowest score, or you need to focus on your marriage because that's the one that's like 2 out of 10. Probably true. But what I say is that when we look at the gaps in our life, when we look at the areas that we feel we are most lacking in, what we really need to look at is the strength of our relationships in that area. And because what we're going to do then is strengthen your tribe in each of those areas so that you have a robust wheel that just rolls along really smoothly. Because when you have a strong tribe, it's going to boost your ability to believe in yourself and to know and believe that you can succeed. It improves your mental health, your motivation, your accountability, your access to resources. Because every deeply challenging experience that I have been through, my tribe coming together has helped me access more resources than I could on my own. Because especially when you're going through something difficult, you don't have the mental faculty to even realize what you need. And so that tribe pulls together to help you access more resources. When you have a goal that you are going after, whether that is starting a business, which I know some of you are, that's your big goal, or moving forward in your career, expanding your family, just wanting to have a more enjoyable life, the strength of your tribe just expands your reach out to additional resources. And who doesn't want more of that, right? Who doesn't want more stronger mental health, more motivation, more accountability, right? I am always wanting to improve those things in my life. All right. And the really good news is that it doesn't matter how many friends or colleagues you have. What matters is that you have the right people in your life to get your needs met. Because a lot of times what people are saying is like, you need a stronger network. You need a better tribe. Come join this mastermind to have your tribe. And I've done that for people in the past. I've done that myself. I've joined groups and I've led groups because people felt like they didn't have enough support in their lives. So here are some stats that make me really sad. 52% of Americans report feeling lonely, and 47% report that their relationships with others aren't meaningful. That makes me really sad. About 65% of parents and guardians are classified as lonely, which is 10 percentage points more than non-parents. So we just said that 52% of Americans report feeling lonely. 65% of parents are classified as lonely. And they also have a stronger sense of feeling left out. 42% of lonely parents always feel left out versus 24% of non-parents. Mothers are especially likely to be considered lonely at 69%, which is 7 points higher than fathers. And single parents, which I am a solo parent, more than 77% classify themselves as lonely. And when I talk about like the loneliness, I mean this in all the different areas, right? If we can swap in like not supported, feeling like we're doing this alone. And then when I pair that with the fact that 67% of adults over 30 are unhappy with their lives because they feel like their dreams will never be fulfilled. That blows my mind, but it makes sense that those numbers are so distinctly tied because so many of us feel like our dreams are never going to be fulfilled. And so we're kind of just giving up on it because we don't feel like we have enough support in our lives. And what would happen if we understood how to get the support that we need in order to achieve our goals? What would happen? Like we'd freaking take over the world. So again, one thing that I know is that every important thing that we do is built on relationships. I am a mom. I am a speaker. I host a podcast, and I am soon to be a published author. My book is coming out in 2 months and 2 days. My story has been featured on NBC, Insider, Business Insider, Addicted to Success, a bunch of different podcasts. I did a TEDx talk. But here's the thing. People have been focusing on a very small, very important, but a very small part of my story. I started the Take the Damn Chance movement because I became a widow at the age of 40. My husband, Mark, passed away unexpectedly 6 days after my birthday, just did not wake up. And I had just started a new business because I had been laid off in May. And all of a sudden, I am a sole financial provider, a solo parent to 2 kiddos under the age of 3, and I've lost my best friend and the love of my life and my biggest cheerleader. When we talk about having a shakeup on a tribe, that was the ultimate shakeup for me because not only did I lose my biggest cheerleader, but then my life completely flipped upside down. I was no longer married. I was now a widow. I was now a solo parent. And I had to rebuild my tribe. So I started the Take the Damn Chance movement. I looked back at what are the hardest things that I have been through. But it wasn't just about losing Mark. It was about losing my dad to cancer. It was about losing my home in a house fire. All of these incredibly difficult things that I have been through, and looking at what are the amazing things that I have done. Building a business, having these kiddos, building our dream home. And that's where I started to formulate the do the damn thing method and the damn frameworks. What people have not been focusing on as they look at my story of losing Mark and the subsequent amazing things, if I do say so myself, like amazing things that I've done, is they were not looking at how important my tribe has been throughout all of this. Okay. Because I have rebuilt and reimagined my tribe on several occasions. When I lost my dad, when I changed colleges 3 times, when I lost my home in a house fire, when I moved across country, when I moved internationally, when I changed careers and got laid off 3 times, even just changing roles within a company. Think about how our tribe changes. You're a coworker and then you might become a manager, and that just shifts the dynamics of those relationships. That means you have to reimagine your tribe. Changed when I got married, changed when I became a parent. Before that, it changed because I was going through fertility issues. So I had several friends who I lost or our relationship shifted because I was going through years of fertility treatments and they didn't understand it. And either they said insensitive things or they just didn't understand why I had to go to a doctor's office to get pregnant. Changed dramatically when I became a widow, not just losing Mark, but losing some of my married friends, losing some of Mark's and my friends. And then I became a solo parent. I have reimagined and rebuilt my tribe on every single one of those occasions. Does this sound familiar? If you guys have been through things in your life, they don't have to be hard things, right? Becoming a parent is arguably a wonderful thing. It changed my tribe because some of my single friends aren't as involved in my life for one reason or another. Moving across country or getting a promotion, those are good things, but it changes the dynamics of your relationships. So I got laid off in 2019, 6 months before Mark passed away. And I decided I wasn't going to go back to work. I was going to start my own company. I wasn't going to go back to a job. Being an entrepreneur is a lot of work. Wasn't going to go look for a job. I was going to start my company. And having a network, a tribe that I had spent years building, allowed me to grow that business from zero to $300,000 in 18 months, even while losing the love of my life, even while grieving the loss of that, even in the middle of a pandemic, especially while being a solo parent to the kiddos, to two amazing kiddos that I wanted to be. They helped me. They've helped me raise my kids. They've helped me celebrate my kids. They cheered me on as I've written this book and as it's coming out, helped me accomplish one of my biggest dreams of becoming a TEDx speaker, launching my podcast, and helped me make the decision to move forward with my biggest, boldest dream to date, which was that when Mark passed away, we were about 60 days away from starting our next round of IVF. And so in 2020, I decided to move forward with that, even as a solo parent with 2 young kiddos. And so in July of 2021, I welcomed my 3rd child, Mark's, and my 2nd daughter, Mirastella. So all 3 of my kiddos have been born by IVF. When our lives change, our tribe changes. And sometimes we feel like we don't have enough friends. Sometimes we feel like we don't have the right friends. Sometimes we feel like we're hanging on to a relationship too long. And sometimes we feel like our friends aren't supporting us. You don't need as many friends or as many colleagues as you think that you do. And when I say we don't have the right friends, that's not like a social status, anything. What it means is that we don't have the right friends to fulfill our needs. Oftentimes, we're hanging on too long. We have come to believe in our society that the only measure of success when it comes to longevity, not the only, but the biggest measure of success when it comes to a relationship is longevity. So when you think about a marriage, people are like, oh, if it ends, they're like, oh, it failed. Oh, you had a failed marriage. Well, why is it that the only way you can consider it successful is if it lasted 50 years? That's not the only measure of success when it comes to a relationship. It shouldn't, I don't even know that it should be the most important measure. Mark and I were together for about 9 years and we were married for six, just under six. That was an incredibly successful relationship. It might be one of the most successful relationships of my life because we grew together. That's where I learned a lot of these things was in that marriage because Mark and I weren't perfect. People will say we were perfect for each other. I'm not even sure that's true. I just know that we were committed to being on the same team. We were committed to learning, to growing. And that then made it the most successful relationship of my life. It has helped me build more successful relationships. It has helped me be a better parent, all of these things. So we can learn how to improve our relationship. So I don't think that longevity is the true measure of success of a relationship. I do think that it's true that sometimes we hold on too long to relationships. I saw this earlier this year, I think it was either or late last year, when there was a friendship that has basically ended. Like I still see that person every once in a while, but they were no longer one of my best friends. And I remember saying to a coach I was working with at the time, I'm like, well, I feel bad ending that relationship. And she's like, but it's over. It's already over. And I said, you're right. I'm just holding on to it in my head. So sometimes we feel like we need to actually let go of some relationships that are kind of cluttering up our mental space. And we might feel like the people around us aren't supporting us. More often than not, the reason people are not supporting us is we have not communicated our needs clearly to them. Sometimes they know exactly what our needs are and they're still not supporting us. That does happen. But more often than not, it's because we haven't communicated those. So, in building your tribe, it does not mean that you have to be an extrovert. Okay. I am an extrovert. I know that. Does not mean you have to be. Mark was an introvert for sure, but he had some of the most deeply connected relationships I have ever seen anyone have. It does not mean you have to have a million friends. You do not have to have a million friends. You have to have three friends, three types of friends in each important area, and there's often overlap. It does not mean you have to get everyone to like you. In fact, that's often the opposite of what you want to do. It doesn't mean you have to like everyone either. Spoiler alert, there are a lot of people that I don't like. I don't like everyone. And I don't think you have to like everyone in order to build a successful tribe. And you will see in that some of those are not going to be super deep. I see them every day, friends, but they're going to be there for a specific reason to help you get through specific parts of your life. It does not mean, in order to build your tribe, it does not mean that you have to take on a bunch of hobbies that you're not interested in. And it doesn't mean you have to be anyone other than who you are. It comes down to three things: needs, invitation, and nurturing. So when we're thinking about all the different areas of our life, right? We talked briefly about health, partnership or marriage, friendships, parenting, work, spirituality, like whatever the important areas of your life are, we all have needs. And A lot of times, what people do when they're trying to build out a network, build a tribe, is they think, I need more people, I need more bodies. Okay. And then they're frustrated because they're like, I just don't know enough people. I know that the reason I'm feeling so lonely is because I don't know enough people. And that's just simply not true. You need to look at what are the needs that you have. And are there people in your life fulfilling those needs? When you are feeling frustrated, when you are feeling unsupported, it is because you have a need that is not being met. A lot of times, we don't even look at what that need is. So I'll give you an example of just what I've seen recently about a friendship. I will often book a sitter or I'll have a sitter and then I'll be like, hey, I'll reach out to somebody and be like, hey, can you go get dinner with me? And I did that recently. And my friend said no, she wasn't available. And I got really disappointed in that. And I had to take a step back and say, what is the need that I have here that is not being met? Is my need to go out to dinner with this friend? Or is my need to go out to dinner with a friend? Or is my need to just go do something without my children hanging on me? Like, what is the need? Now, if the need was to see that particular friend, then the answer to her, I'm not available is, okay, cool. When are you available? Do you have a date in the next? Can we get something on the calendar, basically? If that's the need, right? If the need is, I have a sitter on Thursday and I want to go have dinner with a friend, then the response to that is asking somebody else and continuing to ask until I find someone. Now, I will be honest, in that particular situation, I kept asking, and I think I ended up going out to dinner with my mom, which was great. We went and had sushi. She happens to be one of my friends. Like, that was the need. I needed basically adult interaction. Okay. If the need was just to not be at home and not have my children hanging on me, then the response might have been to schedule a massage or go to Target without my children, like little tentacles reaching out and putting toys in the carts. So if you are feeling unsupported, it means that you have needs that are not being met. What is so critical and important about this is that when you then acknowledge that and when you can recognize that there are needs that are not being met, then you will actually get those needs met faster. Especially in the entrepreneurial world, I see way too often that people join something, hire somebody, whatever, buy a course. And like, again, if you guys have followed me for a while, done any of my other trainings, I have over 300 courses because I'm a course junkie. But what happens is we're hiring somebody, buying something, doing something because we feel like this is what people say we have to do, right? But we're not understanding what our current needs are. And so then we're not getting the right person in to fill those needs. So needs is one of the most important pieces. Invitation is the next. If you want to build a network, you want to build a tribe, you are going to have to invite, you are going to have to interact with other people. I was single at the time and I was sitting on my couch and I was like, I am not going to meet somebody just sitting here on my couch. And then I said, well, I guess I'm not going to meet anybody tonight then because I am not leaving my couch, right? But meeting people, expanding our network requires us to interact and engage with other people. There have been some occasions, frequently, where other people have brought people into my network and into my tribe, but more often than not, I have had to actively do outreach. And what I mean by that is, so I'm an extrovert. Like I said, I crave interaction, less so as I've gotten older and I'm touched out by 3 kids, but I crave that interaction. And when I moved to Ohio, after my house fire, I moved to Ohio to spend time with my mom. I met Mark. He worked at Honda, so he was working 16-hour days. We lived in a small town of Ohio where I didn't know anybody. And there were very few people in the age range of 30 to 45. There's, again, still are, and especially non-parents. And so I said, Mark, I've got to know people. I need to actually just speak to humans. And so I got a waitressing job just so that, I mean, I could bring in a little extra cash, sure, but it like filled that need of mine to be socially interacting with people. When I knew we were going to make the relationship, we were going to make a go of it, then I knew that I needed friends because, as important as Mark was to me, and I'm sure if you are married or you are in a serious relationship, then your partner or spouse is probably very important to you. But the other issue that I have seen repeatedly is that we are putting too much on one person. We are expecting our partner or spouse to bear the burden of all support for us. We have, one person, one colleague, or one person we interact with from a business standpoint, and we're putting everything on them. It's where, if you've ever hired a coach and you expect them to also be like your best friend. I've made this mistake. I've hired a coach and I spent so much time like just kind of venting that I didn't get the results that I wanted because I wasn't letting them do their job because I was like, I just need to word vomit to you about where I am right now. So we put too much onto one person. So we have to expand that. Again, not a million friends, but at least three. So figuring out your needs, inviting and interacting with other people, and then nurturing those relationships. So when I work with people on the do the damn thing method, the first thing we do is we craft your damn manifesto. The second thing is to build out, to find your damn people, to build out your network through layered declarations. And that is exactly this, figuring out your needs, interacting and inviting, and then nurturing those relationships.